Alright, testing. Now we are up to the second last video of this whole series on chapter 8 to 9, right? Now, in this video, we are going to talk about the situation when demand meets up with supply, right? Now, the first topic you will see, it's the what we call determination of market price, okay? 好啦，首先咩叫 market price 咧？ Market price, we have another several names for it, right? Now, market price also, most of the situation will be called equilibrium price or market clearing price, excuse me, right? How are they determined? It is determined by the point when QD equals to QS， 我哋寫低佢啦，記得啊。所謂 equilibrium 其實就係 when QD equals to QS. This is the situation. Okay, when the two meet up, that would be equilibrium, right? Now from a first, actually, let's use a graph first. Okay, from a graphical perspective, it will look something like this. This is our demand, and this, if you remember, upward sloping, this will be our supply. So this one, when they meet up, this point, this is the point where QD equals to QS, okay? 好嘛? This price is what we call equilibrium price, while this one, the quantity, is what we call equilibrium quantity or quantity transacted, okay? Now, in a table form, it would just simply be the point where QD equals to QS will be here, this column. So we know under this situation, the market price would be $3, okay, and the equilibrium quantity would be 6 equals to 6 6件啦 ，OK 好嘛？嗱，Sir， 點解叫 equilibrium 嘅？嗱，equilibrium we also have a very long definition. If you look up in a dictionary, it means there is no tendency to change. 點解呢一點係 no tendency to change 咧？ Now, in order to prove this point is equilibrium, if you remember back in chapter 7, when we talk about profit maximization, we use the same trick. We look at the situation when QD is not the same as QS, right? 係嘛？我哋望下咩情況啦 ？Here, or this time we look at the price. We are more concerned with the price more than the quantity. OK, 好嘛？我哋望下咩情況啦 ？Next page。嗱，我哋講咗啦 ，equilibrium no tendency to change. The condition is QD equals to QS。好啦，咁如果 QD 唔對 QS 發生咩事咧？But we look at what happens when the price is too high. OK， 好嘛？好，例如呢個啦。Graphically, let's try this one. Now this is P, this is Q. Now, again, we have demand, and again, we have supply. Now, obviously, we know the points, these two are equilibrium, but not the points we want. Somehow, let's say the price somehow end up here at P1. At P1, what happens? Let's go from P1 over here. You see, P intercepts with demand, right? With demand. So this point, QD right here, and QS right here. 咩意思啊？ When the price is so high, according to the law of supply, supplier wants to sell this much. But according to the law of demand, consumer only wants to buy this much. 你發覺而家啦，係咪 QS 大過 QD 啊 ？First of all, let's give it a name. 原來而家 QS 大過 QD， 我哋叫做 surplus 多得滯，或者叫做 excess supply 多得滯。OK，excess supply。 So what would happen? You will see that these amounts 呢咁多件呢會發生咩事啊？This no one will buy 係咪啊？Because only buy up to here, but this part no one will buy. So these would turn into so-called inventory 係咪？而家咪 inventory 咯。So what will happen? We say that here when price is higher than equilibrium price, PE right here, okay? Then we have a situation we call surplus, which means QS larger than QD. Then there will be inventory, okay? And the amount is QS minus QD. 呢扎嘢全部變晒 inventory 啦。Okay, now as a very smart seller, what would you do? 好啦，而家發覺冇人要喎呢扎貨 then what would you do? Obviously, you will lower the price, 係嘛？ Lower the price such that people will be attracted to buy your goods. OK 係咪啊？有存貨喎，你成日見咧咩清貨大減價咯，係咪啊？咩清貨大減價咪做緊呢樣嘢咯？They will lower the price to sell the inventory. OK, until when? Until price equals to equilibrium price again, such that the inventory 存貨會係幾多啊？會 become zero，賣晒貨出去咯，係咪啊？ So naturally, what will happen is that since we are overpriced, seller would lower the price to PE such that QD and QS go back to this point when QD equals to QS again. No more inventory. Okay? 得唔得？by the way, when there is a surplus, 我哋有樣嘢要注意先。At P1, only Q1 amount of goods will be sold, right? This is what we call the quantity transacted. OK， 原來喺 P1 呢個情況 ，quantity transacted is only at QD 喺呢個 point 啫，呢站賣唔出啊 ，no transaction for this, only transaction up to here. OK， 得唔得？ So this is a situation when the price is set too high. You will see price eventually will be lowered to sell all the inventory. OK， 得唔得？嗱，所以高得滯啦。好啦，如果低得滯會發生咩事啊？Let's see what will happen when things are priced too low. Here, demand. Here, supply. Again, our PE should be here and our QE should be here. Okay, now somehow the price is set too low. Let's say at here, P1. So let's check at P1, the quantity supplied. Okay, 你見到啦 ，QS 喺呢度 ，and QD will be here。你見唔見啊 ？Here, QD is much larger than QS. We call this as shortage. 唔夠或者 excess demand。OK， 太多人想要，但係唔夠貨。OK， 太多人想要，但係唔夠貨。So this is our starting point. When P is smaller than PE, okay, we have a situation we call shortage. Okay, which means QD larger than QS. 好啦，咁於是會發生一件事啦。Then there will be lines or a queue，有人排隊喺出面，似咩？演唱會飛咯，係咪啊 ？Concert ticket or tickets for 美斯，似唔似啊？呢啲咪排隊咯。Naturally，逢親啲飛要排隊會發生咩事啊？咪有黃牛咯，係咪黃牛飛咪就係咁嚟嘅咯？係咪啊 ？As a very smart seller，what will you do？哇，原來我啲飛咁受歡迎㗎，哦，坐地起價係咪啊？Let's increase the price。 係嘛？哇，咁受歡迎，梗係貴啲啦。貴到幾時啊？Again, until P equals to PE again. So what will happen here? Naturally, QS go back to here, QD go to here, until QD equals to QS。又係嗰句啦，全部人買晒啲飛啦，OK，全部人冇隊啦，no more lining up，OK，no more lining up，OK。By the way, again at P1, the quantity transacted is only at here, QT, still smaller than QE，仲係細過 QE 嘅，見唔見啊？OK，such that here。such that the line would disappear，冇人再排隊咯，咁咪知道賣晒啲嘢咯，係咪？Okay, so from these two situations, we see that either the price above equilibrium or lower than equilibrium, there will be tendency for people to change, mainly the seller 係咪？主要個 seller 就會賣貴啲賣平啲啦，係咪啊？太多貨剩咪賣平啲咯，有人排隊咪賣貴啲咯，係咪啊？They will mainly the seller will do something. Of course, this is only how I talk about it. OK 喺個 model 裏面梗係唔係咁容易啦，係咪啊？但係容易解就係咁樣啦，好嘛？OK，所以 see, no whenever P not the same as PE, there will be tendency to change. When does it not change? When P equals to PE, when the market is cleared. 所以前面你見啊，有叫做 market clearing price clear 啲咩啊 ？demand 同QD 同 QS 咯，係咪？All the QD and all the QS are cleared, just cleared, right? We call it the market clearing price. OK，好啦 ，before we move on, there are several things we need to deal with. OK，有兩句喺呢度。嗱，頭先你講啦 ，shortage again, it refers to the situation when QS is smaller than QD。好多人想要，但係冇乜人賣出嚟。It implies scarcity. Yes，一定係啊，係嘛？點解啊？Because simply not enough to satisfy all consumers' wants，係咪？你見到 shortage 擺到明 consumer 嘅 wants 係唔能夠全部都 satisfy 晒，OK？Not enough to satisfy all consumer wants. So yes, shortage would imply scarcity. 但係小心啲第二句啊。What about scarcity? Does it imply shortage? No. Okay? The situation is simple. Actually, at equilibrium, okay, at equilibrium, PE, QE. If the situation is equilibrium, is there any shortage? There is no shortage. But is there scarcity? Yes. This one. 咩嚟㗎 ？Price 咯，有 price 係咩？有啲咩啊 ？Price competition。好啦，有 competition 即係咩意思啊 ？Scarcity 咯。So you see, even under equilibrium, okay, no shortage, there is still scarcity. Therefore, scarcity not necessarily imply there is a shortage, but shortage would necessarily implies there is a scarcity. Okay, 得唔得？ So these are the definitions. Okay, now let us look at some past paper to conclude this video. Let's see how many past paper do we have. Actually, quite a lot. So brace yourself. Okay, brace yourself. 都幾長啊，要繼續留心啦。好嘛 ，Now we need to explain with the aid of the diagram the following situations using supply-demand model. Okay, 好啦 a lot of would-be teachers cannot secure a position in local school。有好多老師啊，原來想做老師但係揾唔到工喎。嗰陣時，而家唔會啊，而家好易揾工啊。以前咧，some years ago, the year where before I joined St. Joseph's College, right, it was actually quite difficult to find a job as a teacher。嗰陣時咧，冇乜教職啊。Okay, so a lot of people, myself included, try to look for a job but couldn't find a job. Okay, unfortunately. Okay, 好嘛。So what is the situation here? 好啦 cannot secure a position。我哋睇睇先，原來係咁嘅，我哋咁畫嘅。Now this is a job market. Job market. More specifically for school. Okay, for school. More specifically for school. 好啦，記住啦，我哋 access P and Q. Okay, price and quantity. 好啦，照舊 let's have our demand and let's have our supply. Okay, let's have our demand and supply right here. 好啦 obviously, this is our equilibrium price and equilibrium quantity. For our case, in a job market, the price is also wage. So this one will be our equilibrium wage. Okay, 好嘛 now it says a lot of teachers cannot secure a position in job. 嗱，小心啲啊 job market, who would demand? Okay, who would demand worker? 我哋寫低佢啦。原來 demand 係個 employer. Employer would demand some workers, so they are the school. While the supply is the employee. 係咪啊 They are the teachers in our case. 好嘛？好啦，而家佢講明啦。It is teachers who cannot find a job. What does that mean? It means that there is not enough schools to take in the teachers. Therefore, it's actually right here. Okay? We know that the situation P1, the actual wage is right here. Therefore, we have a situation, this one, a lot of quantity supplied, but not enough quantity demanded from school. What do we call this? We call this surplus of teacher, or in a job market, we call this unemployment. 呢個咪 unemployment 咯 ，OK unemployment 咯，好嘛？ So unfortunately, the actual quantity hired is only at Q1 right here. Okay, not up to QE, not up to QE. 好嘛？好啦，其實個原因係咩意思啊？原來啊 the wage is above equilibrium. 人工太高啊，係嘛？原來俾老師人工太高啊。Although I do not agree, right? But from an economics perspective, right? It says that why teachers cannot find a job because the wages are way too high, such that the schools are not willing to hire. Okay, now of course, this is only in economics. Okay，嗱，現實上當然唔止呢個問題啦，現實上都關事嘅，係咪？學校都唔可以亂使錢嘅。They also need to look at their financial situations. So the wages of a teacher also matters, right? But of course, there are factors more than the wages, right? But from economics perspective, the reason is simple. Wage is above equilibrium. Therefore, there will be a situation of surplus of would-be teacher. 多得滯啊，人工太好啊，請唔起咁多啊。OK， 得唔得？ So this is a situation why would-be teacher cannot secure a position, unemployment 係嘛？咪 unemployment 咯。好啦，睇 B part 啦。While a lot of international schools struggle to find enough teachers， 反而咧 international school 咧就揾唔夠老師喎。So the situation, if you're smart, if you have been paying attention, I think you should know it is just the opposite of part A. Again, let's give ourselves the reference point, PE and QE。好啦，原來呀〜喺 I school 咧 the wages are too low， 人工唔夠高啊。Now therefore you will see that QS is right here, QD is right here. We have a situation we call shortage， 請唔到人啊。 好多學校想要 many international schools want those teacher, but not enough teacher is going to international school simply because the wages, okay, the wage is below equilibrium. Okay, therefore, there will be shortage of iSchool teacher. 係嘛？咪唔夠 teacher 過去咯，係嘛？人工太低啊。OK， now of course in reality it's not just about the wages but more about the syllabus 係咪？原來咧 iSchool 咧學嘅 syllabus 咧唔同啊。Not every teacher can go to teach in international school. Now for example, Leo Chan definitely cannot. OK， 佢要教 IB 啊、GCSE 啊嗰啲啊，係嘛？I'm not expert in that. OK，and also you see in international school. English can be a problem, right? Not everyone's English is as good as me，係咪？唔係人人都好似 Leo Chan 英文咁好啊，係嘛 ？OK，得唔得？所以入到去未必教到㗎。OK，remember in international school, it's very difficult to use Cantonese，係咪？唔似我哋喺聖租咧，有時講中文冇人知㗎嘛，係咪啊？唔得㗎，去到 iSchool 未必可以㗎，好嘛？OK，so of course remember when in exam we use economics to explain, but in real life. Don't just use economics， 唔好以為自己學完 econ 懶醒，淨係同人講 econ 啊，會俾人取笑㗎。OK，people will laugh at you。到時你唔好話 Leo Chan 教我唔認㗎。OK，得唔得？So remember in real life, you also need to think about factors outside of price. OK，好嗎？ Now with that said, some actual past papers. Oh, actually no, one more. We have Andy Lau, OK，我哋唱歌啊，係咪 ？Fans of Andy Lau fail to buy concert ticket at a normal price anyway。好啦，唔好 Andy Lau 啊，而家唔興 Andy Lau，而家興邊個啊？而家興 Mira 啊嘛，係咪啊？Anson Lo，姜濤，仲有邊個？Eden Lui，咩？Jer Lau，Jeremy Lee，死啦，我噏唔出啦。喂，你知啲鏡粉會唔會打我啊？都唔好啦，我都 unlist 咗條片佢。OK，anyway，right，fans of Mira fail to buy a concert ticket at normal price anyway。發生咩事啦？嗱，呢個特別啲喎，呢個慢慢嚟啊。Now obviously demand goes like this， 好正常啦。嗱，今次條 supply 有啲唔同喎，because remember in 紅館，OK，in 紅館Hong Kong Stadium，OK，紅館啊，is there a limit to the number of seats? Yes，原來咧。我哋咩紅館啊，遲啲我哋再學啊，咩隧道啊嗰啲啊，係咪 ？When we talk about tunnel, when we talk about 紅館 when we talk about concert, etc. Right? The seats, number of seats are fixed. So this time, the supply is 窒機添，喂玩嘢，而家先窒機，喂 hi 係啦。The supply will be vertical in shape because it is always fixed at this quantity， 永遠都 fix 死喺呢個 Q 度啊，好嘛？ Now how come they cannot get the ticket? Okay, the reason is simple. Okay, here because the price is again set below equilibrium. Okay， 我哋望望啦。This is equilibrium price. This is equilibrium quantity at here. Okay, simply P1 is lower than PE。又係啦，呢嚿叫做咩名啊？見唔見啊？QD larger than QS 係咪啊？ What do we call this? We call this shortage of 紅館 ticket。OK，shortage 咪買唔到咯，咪買唔到咯。Therefore, using economics， 我哋話啦，原來個 ticket price below equilibrium， equilibrium 串錯晒添。Now therefore there would be shortage. Okay, there will be shortage. So some people here cannot get a ticket. So using economics, how to solve this problem? Very easy. Just ask Mira to increase the price to PE，係咪啊？嗱，攞 econ 嚟解釋好簡單嘅，點樣令到黃牛黨消失啊？Just increase the price of the ticket to equilibrium price. This is economics, right? But does that make sense to you, boys? 咩唔 make sense 啊？點樣處理黃牛黨啊？當個主辦單位都變成黃牛黨咪得咯？係咪啊？No, it doesn't make sense. In real life, would you increase the price to PE? No，你形象會冇晒㗎。Okay, if Mira their ticket increase the price to let's say 5,000, then their image, what happens to their image? No，所以唔該啊大家。讀 econ 咧唔好懶性淨係攞 econ 嘅角度去解釋啊 ！No no， if you only use economics to solve this problem, okay, you will die miserably. By the way, okay， 唔該你唔好就咁加價啊 ！There has to be other measures。其實與其加價應該點做？開多兩場咪得咯。Why don't you increase the supply？ 開多兩場咪得咯，係嘛？唔係所有嘢攞加價嚟解決㗎。OK， 唔係所有嘢加價減價可以解決㗎。Sometimes it's not just about the price. Sometimes you may want to work on the supply or demand. OK， 即係如果你淨係講價咧，其實你冇資格讀 econ 嘅。OK，then your economics is actually very bad。OK，unfortunately the market is full of such people。係咪？嗰啲所謂教 econ 嘅人，全部都係咁諗嘢㗎。OK，所以佢哋係唔識 econ 㗎。OK，anyway，I digress。I digress. Okay, now let's move on to the real past paper. Okay，嗱，哎呀，sorry 嚇，跌咗咪添。OK，1995 1995年嘅題目啦。OK，if the market price of a good is equal to the equilibrium price，即係咩意思啊？我哋知道 QD 都係 QS 咯，係咪啊？QD equals to QS，then the seller can sell all quantity they are willing to supply at that price. Exactly 呢個啦，其實咪就係 market clearing 嘅意思咯。There is no pressure，係咪？點解啊？Equilibrium, no tendency to change. Okay, no tendency to change. So exactly, no pressure to change. The sales revenue is maximized. 你未學到嘅 later on in chapter 10, we will talk about elasticity of demand. Okay, this may not be maximized. Okay, 好嘛？ And consumers' want is fully satisfied. 唔係呢個小心啲啊 This one very important. This is not true. Okay，佢只不過係 wants with ability being satisfied, but not all wants 唔係所有 wants 啊 OK， some people they want but they do not have the ability. Are those people satisfied? No. Therefore, answer 1 and 2. Now, let's try this short question, okay? Again, 1995，哇，點解我揾咗份1995年咁遠嘅 World Cup 1994？你出世未啊？你應該未出世，我啱啱出世嘅。I was 3 years old，嗰陣時3歲嘅係咪啊？Was held in the USA. People from all around the world went to the US to watch the match. Okay, the final match was held in LA. Okay, the rental accommodation in the city was fixed in supply，即係咩意思啊？佢講明啦，supply 係 fix 死嘅。Many disappointed football fans could not rent because the rental price was not high enough。然後我哋畫一個係咪啊？Need to draw a well-labeled diagram goes like this. Just now they mentioned supply is fixed, demand no funny business. Okay, it says that many football fans, the demand, quantity demand, could not rent because was not high enough. What does that mean? It means that the actual price is at P1. Okay, is at P1. Now, therefore, the quantity transacted is only up to here. 呢嚿我哋叫做咩啊？ This is what we call shortage。咪 shortage 咯，咁咪唔夠咯，係咪啊？This part of people they could not get accommodation of hotel。OK 就係咁啦，原來呢個就係 shortage 咁解啦。OK 好嘛？Now I think there are 2 more questions. Actually, 1 more question. Then we are done with this video. 我哋望望啦，嗱呢度啦，原來講咩 ？Foreign domestic helper are paid with a minimum wage of this per month. I think this is no longer true. 應該加咗嘅，而家應該唔係嘅啦，係咪 ？It is reported that mainland market is about to open its door, offering a salary several times higher than the minimum wage in Hong Kong. OK， 佢話啦，原來高過香港好多啊，係嘛？Some 嗱呢度啦，難啊呢個，慢慢睇呢條啊，慢慢睇呢條啊。佢話啦，Some employers in Hong Kong claim that even if we offer higher wage to foreign domestic helper，OK， 即係咩意思啊？原來我哋 point number 1，we need wage to increase， 即係呢嚿嘢啦。原來要再上升嘅 ，OK，we need this thing to increase. There will still be insufficient foreign domestic helper after the opening。佢話啦，仍然都係唔夠㗎，所以第二個啦。Here, second point, insufficient 唔夠，即刻諗起邊個字啊？一隻字咯，叫做 shortage。我哋又要 wage 升，又要有 shortage，OK？ With the aid of a supply-demand diagram, explain the above claim. So let's deal with point number 1 first. This is called wage 1。原來我哋而家高咗嘅 wage 係 OK。Let's try this one. The wage is higher. OK. The wage is higher. 我哋望望先。In wage 1, we see that here. This one. QS is larger than QD， 咁咪 surplus 咯。但係唔係喎，題目講到明我要有 shortage 喎。So is there anything else moving? Yes， 我哋記得啦。Here mainland market, Hong Kong market, the foreign domestic helper, what are they facing? They are in a competitive supply relationship。去咗香港就冇得去大陸，去咗大陸就冇得去香港。So they are fighting for the same resources. Now, because mainland becomes more attractive here, 係嘛？ As the foreign domestic helper go to mainland, okay? Because of a competitive supply relationship, okay, the supply in Hong Kong of the foreign domestic helper is going to drop. Okay, if it drop in such a degree， 嗱好誇張喺度，等佢窒完機先啦。If it drop to such a degree， 如果跌得咁勁啊 ，if it drop to such a degree that you see under the new wage, we still have a shortage here. Okay, 係嘛？ If it drops so much that wage 1 is below, okay, the new equilibrium wage, which is here, WE2， 係嘛？你見啦，佢仲係低過新嘅 equilibrium。If this is the case, then there will be still shortage, meaning Hong Kong people still insufficient foreign domestic helper. Okay, so this is the question. Now this one is a very difficult one. Make sure you study more at home about this question. Okay, 記住啦，要畫圖同埋要解釋嘅。You need to explain why. Okay, you need to explain why supply would decrease because of the competitive supply, and you need to explain that even as wage increase, it is still below the new equilibrium price WE2, such that there is a shortage of foreign domestic helper in Hong Kong. OK， 加咗價都唔夠啊！ Okay, Homa, and with that said, I think we are done with equilibrium. For the final last video, I will talk about change in demand supply and how it's going to affect quantity transacted and market price. Brace yourself. The next video, I think, will be the longest video of the whole chapter. So I will see you one last time next video. Okay, bye-bye.